Sanbonan, Ninjan. Today we're going to continue our conversation on nouns. So in our previous lesson, we talked about how nouns are in classes, and we also talked about how we change from singular to plural based on the noun class. You can refer to that lesson just to get a bit of review and reminder in case you haven't had a chance to watch it or you need some review. But today I'm going to just add a few more classes and show you examples of this same rule we're talking about. So another class that we have is the class Si. Nouns in that class begin with the prefix si. For example, cinqua, one of my favorite things to eat, bread. Cinqua, bread. To make it plural, we change from si and we replace it with di. Cinqua, breads. Cinqua, bread. Cinqua, breads. Let's look at another example. Siquama, another important thing, a bag. Siquama. We would change siquama, one bag, to diquama, plural, more than one bag. Another class, another noun class is li, li. Nouns in that class begin with the prefix li. An example is licati. That's a cat. Not a big fan of cats, but they're, some people like them, so we'll learn licati. That's a cat, one. The plural for this one is you remove the li and you replace it with emma. Licati, one cat. Emakati, more than one cat. Another good word to know is likaya, and that's a home. Likaya, a home. One home, likaya, many homes, emakaya. Let's do another one, lu. Lu, L-U, nouns in that class begin with L-U. Example is lunyao. Lunyao, that's a foot, one foot. Lunyao. Tinyao, more than one. 2 feet, 3 feet, more than one. Tinyao. So lu prefix changes to di, and that's how we make it plural. Let's do a few more. Let's actually do 2 more that are usually abstract words and always don't have a singular plural form. They just are as is, these 2 classes. The first one is gu, K-U. And an example of a word in there that's not an abstract word, but doesn't have a plural, it just is that way, is gula, K-U, gula, food. We don't change it, remains as is. Another nice one that I like is gutula. Gutula, that's peace, and it just stays as is, and that's an abstract noun. And the other class that has abstract nouns is bu, B-U, bu. Examples in there are, one that's not an abstract noun is buchani. Buchani, that's grass, buchani. And then one that's abstract is buhle, beauty, buhle. And remember, nouns in the gu and the bu classes, no singular plural, they're just as is. Now let's do 2 exceptions. Every language has exceptions, life has exceptions. So here are 2 exceptions for the noun class. The first is nouns that are in the class, the one we did previously, like umfana, a boy, which plural becomes bafana. If a noun is in that class, but it's not a person, the plural is different. If a noun is in the class, but it's not a person, the plural is different. So umfana, a boy, that's a person, becomes bafana. But here's another word, shanyelo, a broom. Shanyelo, that's obviously not a person. And the plural changes, it's not ba, but it becomes ini. Shanielo, one broom. Shanielo, many brooms. Shanielo, Shanielo. Here's another exception. Words that refer to usually relationship, they have different prefixes, so they don't follow the rule of how every other noun has a prefix that belongs to a class. These nouns are just words. They have different beginnings, but what makes them one, what brings them together, is that they usually refer to relationship. I'll give you examples. Words that mean mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, grandfather, even words like teacher, doctor. All of those words are in this class. So let's just do two for example's sake. Mother is maage in SiSwati. It doesn't fall in any of the classes that we did. But the plural for all of those kind of nouns is the same. It's bo, bo maage. Maage, one mother. Bo maage, many mothers, bo. Another example of a noun that is in that class where they have different beginnings but are all referring to relationships is dogotela. Dogotela. Dogotela is a doctor, and the plural would be bo dogotela. Now, another thing that's important to note for this that we'll talk about as we go is, remember we said why it's important to learn about nouns is because the rules that we use for sentences, which in SiSwati there's lots of rules in the sentences, those rules are based on the noun. Now make a note of this, and I'll mention it again in case you forget. These nouns that we just talked about that are relationship nouns, mage, dogotela, father, mother, brother, sister, all of those kinds of nouns follow the rules of the class. Those nouns follow the rules of the class. It'll make sense as we keep forming more sentences. Well done for joining this lesson. Keep learning nouns. I'd encourage you, in order to get all these rules about nouns and just get this into your system, is learn nouns and then see what we're actually talking about in action. Practice it, going from singular to plural, and just recognizing and even learning some exceptions, because like we say, there's so many exceptions in every language and in life in general. So I'm sure you'll find some exceptions as you learn the nouns. Looking forward to our next lesson. Make sure you practice, practice, practice. Stau bonan.